Good day, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ken's Show and Tell, recommissioning this 1959 Mercedes Benz 220S W180 Ponton sedan. In this video, we're going to focus on this really nice looking mechanical fuel pump, which was rendered inoperable, or at least bypassed in that car with an electric fuel pump. And what I want to do is get this thing operating again with this manual fuel pump with the primer lever intact there. And I bought a rebuild kit here from Authentic Classics. Well, when I took this dome off, I had to take this dome off the carburetor, removing this 10mm bolt. And you see it's nasty, so I clean it up. Look inside this fuel pump, and see the rust and debris in there, and it's been sitting dry for some time, it looks like. Here's the screen on the top that's attached to the spring, but it looks like it's kind of soldered in on this. So because this screen is not rusted or broken, I'm going to clean it up and reuse it. You have to reuse the spring anyway, so I'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to clean these pieces up as I go. Now that these are removed and cleaned up, here's the new gasket right here, and this will go up here. Put it here. This one will go inside there. I'm not going to use the new screen because this spring is soldered to this thing, and I don't want to get into doing all that because this thing looks serviceable, looks good. So next thing we're going to do is take this off. I believe this was added because the electric fuel pump. You can see this is both of these are outlets right here, aus, and these is ein, so this is inlet. And these mechanical fuel pumps were set up for multiple applications, and so made provisions for you could go out that way or this way with the fuel. So we'll probably end up reversing these. So I'm going to take this off, take these screws out right here, and then we'll pull this apart and see what that looks like. Oh yeah. Okay. Got new pieces there. So let's go clean this up right now. So the pump body right here separated, and here's the diaphragm in here, and we're going to take out these pieces in here which look like valves, and so we will take those. I've cleaned this on the outside. I've cleaned that up with a carburetor cleaner. I've cleaned up the inside of that too, and all these things with carburetor cleaner. And I'll turn my attention to this over here. This little plate took a little figuring in how to get it out. It was stuck. Had to use Kroll to unstick it. I think it's never been open before. Here is the gasket that was down in there, just as hard as a rock. Here's the replacement gasket. It's very soft and pliable. Here are your valves, check valves here for the pump. It's out, and clean all this up. I did clean this up, and it was pretty. It was covered in varnish, rust, and but now look at it. It's nice and clean and fresh. And there it is, pump cleaned up, ready for its check valves going in there. All the little pieces in there. This little piece that fits down inside here, which is covered in rust. Now it's nice and shiny and clean. These are the little valves themselves. Here's the new ones over here. There's a hard side, a smooth side, and a fabric side. This is a smooth. This is the fabric side. The fabric side goes against the spring. And here's the new gasket right here. It replaces the little hard one that goes right here, which seals this piece up, which is nice and clean. So I'm going to reassemble that. One check valve in place, the new gasket, little cup down there for the spring, for the other check valve it's going to be right here. And let's see, I have to put a spring here, and then this piece that goes over all of that like that. And of course there's another check valve that goes right on top of that right here. Right on top of that. And you have to make sure that this gasket is oriented correctly. See how it has this little indentation right here? That little indentation, and then of course these notches. Only goes on one way, so you have to orient it so it does so. I've smoothed all this out too, the mating surface, and everything's clean. This half is ready to go. Now we're going to replace the pump cover. So you put we got the rainstorm just came up. Put the spring and the little screen back in place right here. Got the new gasket here. Top. Cleaned up bolt with new fiber washer. And with a 10mm wrench. That part of the fuel pump is rebuilt. Here's the bottom of the pump with the diaphragm and its internal parts removed. So I'll clean those up. The diaphragm will be replaced by this new one. In order to get this thing out, you gently put this in a vise, and you have to push the whole thing down and gently turn it clockwise until eventually you can feel it come undone. It took me forever to do that. So I'm going to clean all this up in here with carburetor cleaner and all this, and we'll be gone. You see here's a little cam that's activated here by a rod that goes into the engine, and it makes this go up and down and causes that thing to pump. Anyway, there you go. As part of this process, I went ahead and cleaned up all the mating surfaces here with acetone and carburetor cleaner, and lightly hit it with emery cloth and a wire wheel. And same thing here and here. little cup. A spring. Big spring. And the tricky part is this. I know it's not going to go on the first time, but the idea, there's a hook down there. So I have to push it in there and get it in such a way and turn it. I can see where it's designed to go back on like that, because you had to turn it clockwise to get it on hook. So I'm going to do it like this. So it's going to be some fiddly, so not worth filming. All my reading about how to put this diaphragm back in this fuel pump under rebuilding, I have got no clearer instructions other than reinsert. I'm telling you, this is the way to do it. You know, when you raise this up and down, I've got it in. This is what your cam and the rod gets pushed by the engine and makes your fuel pump work. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down. And then there's a little hook in there that you have to turn this clockwise after when you depress it, and it gets it off that hook. It's like a little hole inside that shaft that goes down from this. And then what you have to do is keep that rod that's in here that wants to push out of the way. You need to keep it in place. So what I found, I insert this screwdriver in here, and that gets in the way of the rod, and you keep it in place. And now you can push this thing down, and gently you can actually feel it hook. If I wish I'd known that earlier, I wouldn't have wasted hours trying to put this thing back together. But when I just studied it and figured out this little method, it took me 5 minutes. So live and learn. Now, when you put the top half of your pump back on, you have to pay attention to the orientation, because of the way these screw holes are. It can be put on in any orientation. It's got to be your orientation. 2 ounces pointing this way over this rod that goes into your engine block, your mounting, and then the eye is just to this side of this paddle. And now you put the screws in. Okay, so we can drop. Now I forgot, you got to really be careful, because you want these holes to be lined up so that this rubber can move. Okay, so you get it just right, hold it, make sure nothing is kinked up in there. And now let's just stick a screw in here and get it sort of started, but not all the way down, you know, just a little bit. There we go. Let the threads catch, just like. There we go. Let the threads catch. Go down just a little bit, and then over here on the opposite side, and you can still move it. And now the holes will be lined up. And what I mean by the holes, I mean the holes in the base and the top and in the rubber diaphragm as well. Okay, now you should be able to drop the others. Just kind of put them in there. And then what I'm going to do is just start up here at the top, at least my orientation, and just snug, just a little snug. Go in here and take the, pretend that's 12 o'clock, go down here to 6 o'clock, snug this up. Okay, and go over here to, let's say, 2 o'clock. Snug it up. Go over here to 7 o'clock. And we're just lightly snugging right now. And then we go over here and do this one. 10 o'clock. Snug it up. In here. And then snug that one up. So slight snug. A little more snug. A little more snug. And now I believe we're ready to sit down on it. Just go around the circle here. This is what a properly functioning mechanical fuel pump should sound like. Listen. Hear that? There. There you go. Hopefully you can rebuild yours too.